Google Slides is, as I said, free to use. If you go to just Google, log in, you should be able to access their slides, and then when you create a new slide, it looks like this. So the first thing we need to do is define the overall styles, and this is something that people don't do, which, you know, it's crazy because it saves you so much time if you do it properly. But by default, you'll see the font here, Arial. So we're going to change the default font and the default colors and just make things a little easier for ourselves to make a presentation. So to do that, we're going to go to View and then Master. It takes you to the master slides here. And there's a few things of note. So you see this thumbnail at the top is larger. This is the master, and then there's layouts underneath. So by default, it gives you a number of these pre-formatted layouts. One thing to note is anything you change on this top one, so these are all master slides. This is the master slide. So anything you change on here will impact what happens below. So we want our brand font. So whatever your company font is, there's a bunch pre-formatted here or preloaded here, but because it's Google Slides, this is one of the benefits of Google Slides, is you have the full repository of Google fonts, of which there are hundreds. So it's really powerful. Microsoft, it's a little more complicated when it comes to fonts in PowerPoint, so we'll talk about that in the Microsoft video. I'm using Poppins, which is a Google font for my new brand, which I'm going to talk to you about. A couple of things here as well, actually. Did you see the difference there? So most fonts have multiple weights. So this one has thin, light, normal, medium, bold, extra bold, and black, right? So it's a lot. Most of them don't have this many. So it's best to choose the weight here rather than using the bold icon here. It will render better usually if you're using the weight by selecting the different font. If that makes sense. I'm going to turn bold off here. Turning it off, told it to go to their normal. I'm going to go bold here. Oh, look at that. So it's actually detecting that it's bold there. All right, well, as a rule, it's best to select the font rather than use the bold here in any software, to be honest. Okay, and then same for these. I'm going to select Poppins normal. If you click Format Options, then you get this extra sidebar that we'll use in a little bit, but it's very useful. Things like text fitting throw people off a lot. So if you're copying and pasting, for example, text into a text block like this, and there's too much to fit, so right now it's set shrink text on overflow. So it does what it says. It will basically shrink the text to fit. So you can do not auto fit, which is what I prefer, or resize shape to fit text, which will make the shape much bigger. But I prefer to control it myself, so I'm changing auto fit to do not auto fit. Now for me in PowerPoints, you want it to be branded and represent your business, but you want it to be really, you know, simple. People go crazy in PowerPoint way too much. So basically what we're going to do today is add in just a very simple footer treatment, a cover slide, and some chapter slides. So this little pound symbol here means that the page number will appear there. So you can move that and format it however you want. And if for some reason I deleted it and I want to bring in a page number into my template, it's very simple to just insert, grab a text box first, and then go to Insert Slide Numbers. I don't turn on skip title slides. Some people might, but If you think back to print and the magazine industry, if it was a cover or a full bleed ad or something, you don't skip the page number, you just carry on when you start showing the numbers again. So I'm going to just keep it as on and apply. That actually jumped it right over here. Fine, that's kind of where I want it. And it is still the right font, but it's a little big, so let me shrink this down. And that spare one there. Grab this. And this is a good segue into colors. So fonts are defined by the placeholder text boxes that we've got here. And then colors, you'll see where it says theme here. So if I click edit, this is where you can edit all of the predefined colors. So for example, say I want my text, I don't want it to be 100% black, but a dark gray. And white is fine, then maybe this is a lighter gray. See it change here, that might be a little too light. So I can actually come in here and edit it exactly. I'll do a video on picking colors, color palettes another time, but you know, it's quite a long topic, but I've got a brand in mind for this. It's a new product actually that I'm going to be launching. I'm really excited to start showing people. But typically you already have a logo, right? So at this point, if you have a brand guide or you know the colors that you need, if you can get the color codes, there's a lot of ways that you can get these color codes. Too many to talk about right now, but you do need them for the consistency of it. So what I'm going to do is open up my logo file and bring it in here. So insert image, upload from computer, navigate to where the files are. Too many folders here. Sub-brand. This is why you should prepare before starting to do any kind of presentation. So you wouldn't have to do this, and I'm probably going to cut this out, but if you're watching this live, I'm just going to go ahead and open Illustrator and grab the file. It's a brand new logo that I've only just put together. I promise I'm going to get better at this. I always say when people are doing presentations, like, you got to rehearse and you got to prepare, and this is really, this is why. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so the new product I'm playing around with is called Content Catalyst. And these are the logo ideas here and some different color options I was putting together. So you can't see the thing I'm seeing. There we go. So this is basically the logo I'm going to use right here. I'm going to grab this. This will be stuff we cover on another show. Or I already had those selected. Okay, where I save them. All right, so ignore all of that last few minutes. So for the template, you want to keep it simple. You want your branding to show through. We're going to add colors. But I'm going to start off by bringing in the company logo. So I have a product that I'm working on at the moment for myself. So I'm going to bring in the logo for that. It's called Content Catalyst. And I'm really excited to launch that soon. But for now, let me just bring in the logo. That wasn't the right one. The logo. There we go. So as I was saying before, any edit you make on this master is reflected on all of those other master layouts. So I like to keep it pretty simple. Throw this guy pretty small down here. So if I move out the way, put the, where are we? That's weird. Put the page number. And I want to be able to flick between these. Complicated, isn't it? So you can see I've got my logos here. I'm importing it into here. This was a waste of time. It's harder than it looks, you know. Watch people doing live streams and flicking between their different sources. Tricky. All right. So I should probably move my face because it's in the way. All right, we'll figure that out another day. So I've got my logo down here. So if I exit the masters that I'm editing right now, you can just come up and click this X at the top right. So we'll see that the font has changed to Poppins, and every time I make a new slide, it has Poppins font and it has the logo, and you can't select it because it's part of the master. Which happens a lot, actually, thinking about it. If you ever receive a presentation that you need to make a change to, and for some reason you can't, say there's something like this logo here, and you want to move it or change it or delete it, very good chance that it's in the master slide, and that's why you can't select it. You still can't select it here. So you have to come all the way to this top one at the top left, and that's where you get to move it. All right, so got a basic master already, just after doing that. Let me just save this. Content Catalyst, master template. Also helps if you can type. All right. So I'm going to jump back into the master now and look at some of those other layouts. Honestly, they give you, I think, too many. View, master. Okay, so this is the global one. This right now is the cover slide. I have some artwork I'm going to bring in. You could just use a photo or similar. This typically is maybe a chapter divider. So if you have different sections in your presentation, it's nice to be able to break it up. And then you have the standard text, 2 columns, just title, 1 column. This could be for a quote, or again, can be used as a chapter slide. This is if you have two slightly different treatments. And the problem with these, when you start having too many, is you're never going to have every single version of every type of slide that you want. So I tend to really only use the standard one like this, maybe the title with nothing, and then just blank, because there are times where you want the master slide to have the logo and the footer and maybe the copyright or date or something, but you need flexibility in the deck itself. So I'm actually just going to make this one blank one. I'm just going to rename this blank. I click that up here. It's good to sort of keep your master slides organized. So yeah, we have the page number, we have this. Let's also add in text box here. Maybe it's like the web URL. Okay. Cool. Center that. And then we'll talk about alignment and stuff, but very quickly, you go to Arrange, Center on Page, Horizontal. Then if you select it and hold down Shift, I can only go up and down or exactly left and right. That makes sure that I stay center aligned. I'm going to bring the size of this down a lot and make this gray that we changed to before. Another thing that drives me crazy in slides is when I do up, down, left and right, it moves quite a bit, right? If you only want to move 1 pixel, hold down Shift and then click up and down. So holding down Shift in most software that I use will make it move by increments of 10, and just up and down by itself will move it 1 pixel at a time. Google Slides, it's the opposite. Up and down moves it like 10 pixels. If you want to do just 1 pixel at a time, then you hold down Shift. Took me a long time to get my head around that. All right, so colors. So we're in the master slide. So we get this option here, colors, theme colors. So we're playing around with the grays before. So now accent 1, I know I want it to be this pink. So if you go ahead and grab the color code, now there are lots of plugins and things available online that help you, suck the color from an asset. Web browser add-ons and plugins, or you can open it up in Photoshop or something like that if you have it. I did these logos in Illustrator, so I'm just grabbing it directly from there. If you're working for a corporation, though, you will have a style guide, and talk to your marketing team if they don't, because they absolutely should. We make style guides. Same. Okay, so accent 1 is going to be this pink. The accent 2, use this dark blue. Copy that. Paste 3. Now you don't have to do all 6, of course. While I'm here, let's do this. Okay, good. Accent 4 will be this lighter blue here. All right. And then link colors. I want to use the pink for anything that is a link. And then accent 5 and 6, I never want to use these colors, so rather than get confused, or if you're sharing this with someone else, black those out. So these are now my colors. Exit out of this theme. So now when I select some text, and I want to change the color, I have my theme colors down here, so you know you're always using the right one. All right. I mean, from there, it's really just adding little design details here and there. So let's make this layout. So this right now is set to that first layout, which is like a cover slide. Let's say I just want this to be a regular slide straight away. When you're creating a slide, you can click the little drop-down arrow here and choose which layout you're using. But to change one that I've already selected or already created, click this, layout, and then select title and body. And now I have just like a regular slide. So we should add just a little bit of design. Background lets you change every color or the background of every slide. You can bring in an image as well. I don't love doing that. It's a little heavy-handed. I'd rather control that in the master slides themselves. Let me go back to the master. Okay, so for the footer, it's nice to have a bit of separation between the bottom here and the content at the top. There's a few ways of doing that. You can use color in the background or color on the footer. What I tend to often do is just make a square or like a full width rectangle. And I just want to make essentially a drop shadow so it looks like it's white on white, but the footer is slightly like layered above. So again, lots of ways you can do that. Quickest way that I find is just make this white. So if I unselect it, you can't see it at all. Select it again. I'm going to go to Format Options and just add Drop Shadow. I want the drop shadow to be at the top. So I can change the angle here of where the shadow is. I want it to be a bit more subtle than that. So make it lighter. Increase the blur. That's how far out the shadow goes. Well, so distance is the distance of the shadow, and the blur is how blurry it is. So bring this right back. Yeah, I don't want it to be too in your face, just enough so you can see it. And you can achieve the same effect. I mean, you really, I'm just putting a gray horizontal line to separate the footer and the content. Just trying to sort of stylize it a little more. So here you go, it's got that footer there. But you'll see, because I added this after the logo, it's on top of it. So if you go to Arrange, Order, and then I want this at the back, so center back. Okay, this probably could go a little bigger. Okay, so now I've got my branded font, and I'm actually going to change the text color of this to be dark blue. It's hard to see on the screen, but it's blue, it's not black. Okay. Thinking this page number, bring this down a bit. And I think I'm actually going to make this guy pink as well. Balance that out a bit. Now for the headings, this is taking up quite a lot of space right now. You know, on these presentations, space can be a real premium, so let's move this up higher and across. And you can use the rulers. There are these rulers here. So I just clicked on the side and dragged it out, and I'm going to align it to the left of my logo here. I'm just going to hold down Shift and left a couple of times, and then do the same for that. That gives us just more space to play with. And also, you know, the header right now, you can do underlines or block treatments or something. For this, I want to keep it pretty minimal, but just so that there's something at the top, I'm just going to make a square. And just have a little tab here. It's amazing what a difference just little elements like this can make. So it's overlapping. And then arrange. I want this to align to the top. Okay. So purely cosmetic. This isn't doing anything, but it just starts sort of bringing something in there. And my logo has these two overlapping circles. So on things like the divider page, I think what I would do, I think what I'll do here is actually copy this, make it full size. Right click, then you can jump quickly to these different options that are available in the top here. White. You notice I used the white here, not here. Once the theme is set up, it really should use these colors always, because then if you make a change to this white, say I wanted to change it to light blue or something, it will change it everywhere in the deck for you. So use the theme colors. And then grab this again. I'm going to paste it here so it's in the same place. I'm going to make this white. Just because you'll see my logo here actually isn't aligned properly. Oh, that's because of this. So this pink box, go order. It is at the back. Ah, okay. This is a fun one. So what we've done so far is in this master layout. And because this is here, whatever change I make to this, you see it on all of these. But because I'm doing this pink as a shape, it's on top of this. So in fact, I'm going to delete that. Why these tools are interesting, because there's literally hundreds of ways that you can do everything. So I'm back to where I was. Bring this up a little bit. And instead of using a color block, I'm going to come to background, color, pink, done. So this is affecting the background just of this layout, not of the whole slide, the whole presentation. Okay, and the page number. Interesting, why is it doing that? Do not auto-fit. You see the page number moved on this. Delete it there. Select. Paste. Paste. So this sort of stuff does happen sometimes, so it's best off that does happen where you're seeing things out of place like this. You can delete it, grab it from a slide that you know has the right layout, and then paste it in, and it will always paste it in the same place. Not sure how that one got misaligned. Okay, so I'm going to click the X. We don't need these. The ruler is kind of interesting as well. So I used a ruler to create a line for me to lay this out, and it's still visible. Now that can be really useful if you want to have like a grid layout when you're putting the slides together. But right now I'm going to get rid of view, back to master, and we're going to All right, it's shaping up. Now we've got our title, main content, logo. This could be copyright or whatever. And this could be a chapter slide, section 1. Sometimes you may want to color code these. So if we go back to the master and right click here, duplicate, and go to background. Let's make this that blue. Now we have a different chapter slide. So if we were doing different sections, you could color code them like that. Similar for this. So if it's a long presentation, using color can be really useful so that the viewer knows like where they are in the presentation. So you could make a set of slides for the blue section, so the title and that little tab would be blue, so people know exactly where they are in the presentation. I'm just going to go back to this pink, and then I'm going to just add one more thing. So view master. I'm going to grab my icon here. I want the white version. Do this. Export it quickly. So again, if you have brand assets that you can pull from, you can do something like this, but I'm just going to quickly export this now. PNG, want it to be large. Make this 2000. Okay. Come back here, insert, image, load. White icon. All right, cool. I want that centered. So right click, center on page horizontally, center on page vertically. Now, one thing to note actually with this is when you do center on page vertically, because we've got that white footer, it looks like it's too far down the page, because in relation to the pink area, it is. So I'm just going to eyeball this so that it goes more into the center of the pink. And then we're going to knock this back so that you can barely see it. So click Format Options. Adjustments. Make it, say, 70% transparent. More of a watermark. And then we can have the title over the top. I mean, there's lots of things you could do with something like this. You could have it big, and maybe you only see a portion of it. Can be really impactful as well. Something like that could look kind of cool. When it's in presentation mode, obviously you'll only see the bit within the slide size. All right, so we're getting there. And then the final piece is I do want to make a cover. We've got the section, we've got the title here. Let's add cover slide, and let's view master one last time. And I'm just going to bring in an image for the background. Background, choose image, upload. I've got some artwork that I together for this right here. Right. Looks good, although it's squishing it. I'm bringing the image in as a background. It's forcing it to fit. So I'm actually going to bring in the image by itself, and then I can make sure it keeps the dimensions correct. So this is like a brand asset that I've put together for it. So it's content exploding out. And this is going to be a good opportunity to show you how to crop. So you can crop in a number of ways. So if you select the crop image icon up here, you can actually crop it to different shapes, which can be really useful. Crop to circle. Change the shape of the circle. In this situation, I'm just going to do a regular rectangle. I'm going to make it to the size I want it to be. And because this is the cover, I'm actually going to have it full bleed, bringing the logo to the middle. Now to resize it, by default, it maintains proportions, but from the corner. So I'm doing the right corner here, it's pinned to the bottom left. I want it to scale evenly in every direction. So if you hold down Control, it lets you do that. If you wanted to resize it without it maintaining the proportions, sometimes you do. If you hold down Shift. Oh no, the Photoshop thing. If you did want to do that, you can unlock it here. Change. All right, never mind. Very rare that you want to do that anyway. Make this back to this. Hold down Control. Scale it up so it's the full width. Okay. Bigger. I've got plenty of padding around it. All right. It's Content Catalyst. So I did the text, obviously, in Photoshop when I was putting the artwork together. I do want to have the ability to add and edit text in this slide. So Content Catalyst will always be there, so that's fine. Go center back. And I've got these two text boxes here. I think what I'm going to do, knock them down in size. Left align it. And this will be title. Subtitles, bigger, and maybe we just put in a little dividing line. This I might adjust this like a little bit. If you double click, you can get into the crop editor. Bring this down to, I want to overlap the image. Well, a little bit's kind of. All right. Text box that big. Okay, so I mean, depending on what the title is, it might overlap a little bit here, but I think that's fine. And then I want to bring in that little icon again. Don't need to copy it. I'm going to grab it from here. Paste it. I'm going to put this guy full like this. All right. So that's a very basic layout. This is our cover. Oh, so this is interesting. So the placeholder text, if you don't put anything in, then it is blank, like this. So let me actually put this in. The intro to Google Slides. And then this could be March 2021. Let's spell that correct. Okay. And let me move out the way. And that looks good. We've got the cover page, the presentation content, and this is a chapter. It's cropping off. That's just my video capture software. I'm not showing the bottom. So I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, there's so much you can do in these tools. This is just covering setting up the template and putting, you know, basic masters together. But let me know. I would love any feedback at all on the types of things in Google Slides or PowerPoint that you want to be able to know how to do. And I'll do a video on it. Thank you so much for watching. Let's see if I can make this work now. All right. Is that good? Did that work? TV turned off. That's supposed to be showing something. Thank you so much for watching. If you are actually watching this, please contact me. I mean, I'm not expecting anyone to see this, so it'd be very interesting to see what you saw and if you liked it. Bye.